When Dolly Parton's sister posted that she was up all night praying, fans thought the worst. But here's what really happened, and why it says a lot about how much we love our legends. Dolly Parton made the internet lost its mind. 6 postponed shows, panic online. But Dolly's team says she's simply resting and recovering, and surrounded by family. She's still the same ray of sunshine she's always been. Hello, folks! Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Daily World Pod by Zebra Truth. I'm your host, Thomas Smith, and today we're unpacking the major story that has worried the country music fans around the world. We're joined by our expert, Jane. All right, Jane, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Dolly Parton's health update had country fans sweating harder than a cowboy at a line dance marathon. Frida, her sister, posts online about being up all night praying for Dolly, and suddenly the internet thinks Jolene's come to get her. What's your first reaction?
Honestly, Thomas, when I saw prayers for Dolly trending, I thought, is 2024 about to steal our national treasure too? I mean, you know it's bad when even my grandma texted me a crying emoji. But Frida did circle back and say, it's not as serious as it sounded, just a little sisterly panic. We've all sent a dramatic text at 2 a.m., right?
Absolutely. My cousin once asked for thoughts and prayers because her cat sneezed. But it does beg the question, has social media made family group chats public crises now? The way fans reacted over 30,000 comments in an hour shows just how much people latch onto these updates.
Oh, totally. It's almost like fans have adopted Dolly as everyone's collective auntie. I get why folks freak she's been through a lot lately, with the loss of her husband, postponing her Vegas shows until 2026, and tackling serious health stuff at 79. It's hard not to worry when someone so iconic suddenly slows down.
It's wild. She joked on Instagram that it was just her 100,000-mile checkup, but that didn't exactly calm anyone down. Maybe the public's panic says as much about us as it does about Dolly. Speaking of, let's dig into why this hit such a nerve.
You know, Thomas, sometimes I wonder, are we more invested in Dolly's health than our own? I can't remember the last time the nation rallied this hard for a flu shot. But maybe it's about stability. Dolly's been around for 6 decades. So when she wobbles, we all feel a little unsteady.
Yeah, she's like emotional bubble wrap for America. But isn't there something a little unsettling about how quickly one Facebook post can spiral into a nationwide freakout? It's as if we crave a sense of belonging and rallying around a superstar, but at the same time, it exposes how much we want our icons to be bulletproof.
True. And it's not just Dolly. Remember when Betty White's birthday became an annual anxiety fest? We treat our celebrities like mythical creatures. They're supposed to be ageless, scandal-proof, and apparently immune to the common cold. When reality intrudes, cue the existential crisis.
And social media just pours gasoline on the fire. On one hand, you get the outpouring of love and community support, like Freda mentioned, fans sending prayers from all over the globe. On the other, it's a breeding ground for rumors, hysteria, and, let's be real, some pretty spicy comment section debates.
That's why I loved Dolly's line. I'm not quitting the business, because God hasn't said anything about stopping yet. That's peak Dolly making us laugh, even as she tells us she's having surgery. But her openness also sets a tone. When a mega celebrity is this transparent, it makes us think about our own attitudes towards sickness, aging, and public vulnerability.
It does. And it also brings up bigger questions about privacy versus the public's right to know. But before we spiral into a full-blown debate about oversharing, let's talk about what this says about our society and maybe even our democracy. Now, here's where things get really interesting. If you squint just right, Dolly's health scare is like an allegory for the state of our democracy. Bear with me here. We panic when our icons show weakness. But isn't that what we do with institutions too? One bad headline, and suddenly everyone's predicting doom.
I see where you're going. It's like we need our idols and our political systems to be unbreakable. But newsflash, both get the sniffles now and then. Maybe our core values, like transparency and compassion, are getting tested when someone as universally loved as Dolly admits she needs a break.
Exactly. You get fans demanding more details, asking for constant updates, kind of like the public expects total access to politicians' lives, but then turns on them for being human. There's pressure to always be on, never show weakness, and to keep the show running even when your personal world is crumbling.
But then there's the upside. Dolly's openness sparks waves of support and real conversation. Her sister Frida thanked fans, saying their prayers truly make a difference. Imagine if our institutions responded to crises with that kind of honesty and asked the community to rally together instead of just spinning PR.
Love that. It's almost like Dolly's saying, hey, it's okay to pause, recalibrate, and come back stronger. That's a lesson a lot of leaders could use right now, instead of just doubling down until the wheels fall off. Speaking of coming back stronger, let's talk practical hope. What would a best case scenario look like here for Dolly and for us?
Dream scenario? Dolly takes her time, recovers fully, and drops a surprise TikTok dance collab with Beyoncé. But on a real note, this break might set a new gold standard for self-care, not just for celebrities, but for all of us. She's showing how to put health first, even when the world expects you on stage every night.
And maybe fans learn to chill out just a bit less panic, more patience. Dolly's career is like her hair, resilient, bigger than life, and not going anywhere. So if she needs a tune-up, we can wait. Plus, her message about not quitting because God hasn't said anything about stopping yet, that's both hilarious and a little bit inspiring.
It's also a reminder that strength doesn't mean never slowing down. The woman has 44 top 10 albums and still owns a theme park. If Dolly can take a breather, surely we can too. Maybe this cultural pause is the nudge we need to rethink our own pressures, whether you're hustling at work or just hustling to keep up with your group chat.
You know, it's almost poetic. Dolly's personal story making us look at our values, our democracy, even our work-life balance. That's the power of a good allegory, and maybe we all need more of that. Before we wrap, Jane, what's one question you'd leave our listeners with tonight?
I'd ask, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to slow down, like Dolly did? And if you haven't, maybe start now. It's easy to demand more from others. But what if we offered a little more grace to our icons, our institutions, and ourselves?
Oof, that's the mic drop right there. Folks, if you've been biting your nails over Dolly or anything else this week, take a breath. Maybe send some love, crack a joke, and remember, sometimes the bravest thing is to admit you need a pit stop. That's it for today's Daily World Pod by Zebra Truth.
Here's to more drama, more dialogue, and never settling for the easy narrative. Okay? On that positive note, that is a wrap for today then. Well, thanks to everyone for listening to the Daily World Pod by Zebra Truth. If you learned something today or got a little fired up, share the episode, subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back with more from the bleeding edge of AI and country music. Meanwhile, you can also visit our website, www.zebratruth.com, and download our app to stay informed and stay connected.